this is your girl Wakeji Kamore, and welcome to Reflections by Wakeji Kamore. We are currently going through the book of 1 Samuel. We're doing this chapter by chapter. It would be nice for you to listen to the end of this recording because I will be sharing my key takeouts from the chapter that we'll be reading today at the end of this recording. Also, remember to subscribe, to share this with someone else, and to click the notification bell so that you never miss any new recording. So we are in 1 Samuel chapter 23, and I'll be reading this from the NLT version. So kindly follow through the story, and let's hear what God has to tell us today. So one day, news came to David that the Philistines were in Keilah, stealing grains from the threshing floors. David asked the Lord, should I go and attack them? All right, let me just pause right there. So at this point, David is still fleeing for his life from Saul. Remember that Saul and that guy called Doeg the Edomite just killed 85 priests and all their families and their sheep and donkeys and all that. So Saul is still pursuing David, and David is still fleeing from Saul. But David has heard that the Philistines are at this town called Keilah, and they are stealing grains from the threshing floor. And David is there asking God, should I go to go and attack them and defend this town, or should I not? So God told David, yes, go and save Keilah. The Lord told him. Keilah sounds like someone's name, yeah? It's a town. It's actually a village. All right. But David's men said, we are afraid, even here in Judah. We certainly don't want to go to Keilah to fight the whole Philistine army. So David asked the Lord again, and again the Lord replied, go down to Keilah, for I will help you conquer the Philistines. So David and his men went to Keilah. They slaughtered the Philistines and took all their livestock and rescued the people of Keilah. Now when Abiathar, son of Ahimelech, fled to David at Keilah, he brought the ephod with him. Saul soon learned that David was at Keilah. Good, he exclaimed. We've got him now. God has handed him over to me, for he has trapped himself in a walled town. So Saul mobilized his entire army to march to Keilah and besiege David and his men. But David learned of Saul's plan and told Abiathar the priest to bring the ephod and ask the Lord what he should do. Then David prayed, O Lord God of Israel, I've heard that Saul is planning to come and destroy Keilah because I am here. Will the leaders of Keilah betray me to him? And will Saul actually come as I have heard? O Lord God of Israel, please tell me. And the Lord said, he will come. Again David asked, will the leaders of Keilah betray me and my men to Saul? And the Lord replied, yes, they will betray you. This is amazing. This is great. Like having a conversation with God at this level. Oh, I desire that. Like asking questions and getting answers from God. That's just amazing, guys. That's just amazing. We could end this here, but the chapter is not done. So David and his men, about 600 of them now they have grown from 400 to 600. So clearly, losers, vagrants, and misfits are still joining, left Keilah and began roaming the countryside. Word soon reached Saul that David had escaped, so he didn't go to Keilah after all. David now stayed in the strongholds in the wilderness and in the hill country of Ziph. Saul hunted him day after day, but God didn't let Saul find him. One day near Horesh, David received the news that Saul was on his way to Ziph to search for him and kill him. Jonathan went to find David and encouraged him to stay strong in his faith in God. Don't be afraid, Jonathan reassured him. My father will never find you. You are going to be king of Israel. This Jonathan guy, he's amazing. You're going to be king of Israel, and I will be next to my father. will never, and I will be next to, sorry, let me repeat that. Verse 17 says, don't be afraid, Jonathan reassured David. My father will never find you. You are going to be the king of Israel, and I will be next to you as my father Saul is well aware. So the two of them renewed their solemn pact before the Lord. Then Jonathan returned home, while David stayed at Horesh. But now the men of Ziph went to Saul in Gibeah and betrayed David to him. We know where David is hiding, they said. He is in the strongholds of Herosh on the hill of Keilah, which is on the southern part of Jeshimon. Come down whenever you are ready, O king. We will catch him and hand him over to you. The Lord bless you, said Saul. At last someone is concerned about me. Go and check again and be sure of where he is staying and where he has seen and who has seen him there. For I know that he is very crafty. Discover his hiding spaces and come back when you are sure. Then I will go with you, and if he is still in that area at all, I'll track him down, even if I have to search every hiding place in Judah. So the men of Ziph returned home and ahead of Saul. Meanwhile, David and his men had moved into the wilderness of Moab in the Arabah Valley south of Jeshimon. When David heard that Saul and his men were searching for him, he went even further into the wilderness, to the great rock, and he remained there in the wilderness of Moab. But Saul kept after him in the wilderness. Saul and David were now on the opposite sides of a mountain. Just as Saul and his men began to close in on David and his men, an urgent message reached Saul that the Philistines were raiding Israel again. So Saul quit chasing David and returned to fight the Philistines. Ever since that time, the place where David was camped has been called the Rock of Escape. David then went to live in the strongholds of En-Gedi. Well, Maisha David has taken a wrong turn. Like, man, the guy is just fleeing. All right, so in this chapter, we see David helping free the people of Keilah from the Philistines. I mean, David was still on the run. Actually, it had been close to this run, by the way. It's not like a daily thing. This has been like a span of about 10 years or more on the run. And it made more sense for David to focus solely on himself, and his own troubles. But he continued to see the need of others, even as he was fleeing for his life from Saul. And David sought God's direction, and he was guided to go and fight the Philistines on behalf of the people of Keilah, briefly taking the focus off his own challenges, and in turn, God provided strength and encouragement through his friend Jonathan. So on the other hand, we have the tallest man in Israel, the reigning king. He has allowed his jealousy and his anger to blind him, even to the extent that he forgot his role as a king. Instead of going to rescue the town of Keilah, to free his own people from the Philistines, the only thing that makes him move, the only motivation that guy has, this Saul guy, is to capture and kill David. The only thing that will make him move is the fact that he wants to go and capture David. What David did can be difficult to do. It can be difficult to help someone else while facing your own problems. Our mind naturally gravitates to our self-interest and concerns, and like it's so hard to, like, when you're overwhelmed by own problems, now you've gone to help someone else. That takes a lot of strength to do. And it's so hard to, like, shift your focus from your own problems and go and help someone else. I also like that even in the setting aside of his problems, David actually gets encouraged by Jonathan. Like, he has set aside his problems to go and risk his life to go and save other people. And he, in doing that, in the process of doing that, he finds encouragement from his friend Jonathan. This is a great representation of the word of God in Proverbs chapter 11, verse 25, that says that the generous people will prosper, and those that refresh others will themselves be refreshed. In another version, Proverbs chapter 11 verse 25 says that whoever brings a blessing will be enriched, and those who water others will themselves be watered. This reminds me of a story. Some years back, I was having such a bad day, you guys. Business wasn't going well, and one of my clients had basically insulted my business and called it small. Like, my client called my business small. Like, the nice words that they could use, basically they called my business small. And I was feeling so small compared to the other organizations that offer the same services that I do. That specific day, I was totally overwhelmed by my own problems. On that same day, a friend called me and asked me to help her drive a family that was having an even worse time. The parents had lost their jobs. They had been rendered homeless, and they didn't have rent. There were foreigners, there were Ugandans, and it was in the height of COVID-19, and they couldn't even travel back home. Their situation was so bad that the parents, these two Ugandan parents, were left with no option but to drop their kids into a children's home so that they could keep them safe or at least fed as they looked for a way to spring back up. So a friend calls me and tells me, "Oh, Emily, there's this family. They're going through like a really rough time. Like they have no money. They're jobless. They're homeless, and they have children. And so they have asked me if I could find a children's home for them. And I have found a children's home for them, but I need your help to come and come and pick them and drop them to the children's home." So that's what the friend is telling me. And let me tell you, when I listened to that situation, in my overwhelmed mindset, remember that I'm already going through my own problems. That specific day, a client had just basically insulted my business. There was no business. We're in the height of COVID, and there was just no business. So I was so very overwhelmed by my own problems. I knew that I didn't have the capacity to be in that space of helping people who are already in a worse state. So I resisted helping. I resisted. I was just like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to drive anybody. I don't have capacity to listen to people's problems. Like, I don't want to do it. Even driving them to the children's home seems like it would just drain the little energy that I had left. But my friend was really persuasive. So I agreed to help. The process of picking them and dropping them and their children to the children's home took about like an hour. But I came back so refreshed because this family, no matter what they were going through, they were so joyful. It was unbelievable. I'm like, you guys are homeless. You guys are having to go and drop your kids in an orphanage. Why are you this joyful? What is so nice about your life that you are this happy? They were so joyful. And they didn't act as if their world was crumbling in on them, even if it really felt like it was. On the other hand, I had a roof over my head, I had food to eat, I had clothes to wear, and I even have businesses to run. The same businesses that my clients were insulting. And I was so blessed, yet I was so sad. And I had allowed the problems that I was facing take away my joy. I thought that spending time with this family would drain me, but in helping them, I was encouraged and refreshed. It can really be difficult to help someone else when facing your own problems. Christ, however, has called us to actively attend to the needs of others. This shift in focus has the benefit of building up someone else while encouraging us and helping us to not become self-centered. So don't be self-centered, even when you're going through the toughest of time. Like we see David going through the toughest of time here, yet he pauses his problems and goes and helps this town and conquers the Philistines for them. Be mindful of those that God bring across your path today. The encounter of whoever it is that you encounter and whatever problems they may be facing, and the fact that you will stop focusing on your own problems to help someone else, that encounter may encourage them and then also will help you come out of your own self-pity. This is your girl Wakeji Kamore, and this has been Reflections by Wakeji Kamore. See you tomorrow.